Right now at 5, a former court employee sues the state of Kansas.
And we've got ourselves another mild start today. Some partly cloudy skies, maybe a couple of pop-up storms. Take a look at that forecast coming up.
And the Atkinson Municipal Airport in Pittsburgh announces plans for some expansion projects.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's another bit of a mild start for us this morning, kind of like yesterday, but there's no rain out to the west. There's really not much going on around the area, unfortunately. We really didn't see much out of yesterday's activity, and that's going to be the case for us today as well. Not a lot going on, but we do have at least a chance for a couple of pop-up storms this afternoon, so some of us could get some rain. So let's take a look down the road at what we are expecting. We head into the afternoon, and that's when we could see a couple of pop-up storms. So that's really going to be about it. We'll otherwise be partly cloudy, and most of the pop-up storm activity really confined to southeast Kansas and parts of northeast Oklahoma. Friday morning, we could see a stray shower or two, and then we'll be partly to mostly cloudy throughout the day Friday. Friday evening, maybe a pop-up storm, maybe even 2 of them. And then as we go into our Saturday and Sunday, we'll have more scattered thunderstorm chances across the area. MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line, looking good so far this morning. And same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. Of course, that's just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera 7th and Range Line. It's dark outside, but we do have clear skies. Take a look at this. We're really mild. We're sitting at 70 in Joplin. And as it's been, dew point, humidity, both up there a bit this morning, and it'll be that way through the day. But the good news is we're expecting to be about that much cooler than what we were yesterday. Sitting at 65 in Fort Scott, 67 Nevada, Iola, 70 Yates Center, 71 Neodesha Parsons, 70s in Chetopa, Miami, Neosho, Carthage, and 68 in Monette. We get our morning started. We're going to start the day mostly sunny, warming into the low 80s as we go into the late morning hours, and we'll start to see some increasing cloud cover. And we're going to go partly, maybe on occasion, mostly cloudy through the day. And then as we head into the afternoon, those pop-up storm chances are out there. It's a low chance, but at least some of us might see a little rain. As we lose the daytime heating, those pop-up storms, they die out as well. We'll go partly cloudy overnight and also be just a pinch cooler as we drop into the low to mid 60s. We go into tomorrow, though, those low 90s return, those evening pop-up storms, very low chance, but there is at least a chance, and 71 Friday night. We go into the weekend, warming up quite a bit, mid 90s, low 90s out there. Some thunderstorms possible, some in our southern counties on Sunday. Some isolated thunderstorms possible Tuesday, otherwise staying pretty darned hot as we head into next week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A former court employee is suing the state of Kansas. The plaintiff in this lawsuit, Terry Thurman, who was employed for more than 21 years as the clerk of the Labette County District Court in Parsons. According to lawsuit documents, Thurman claims she was subjected to a hostile work environment based on her sex or gender. The lawsuit specifically targets instances that allegedly occurred between employees of the 11th District, including Thurman and Judge Fred Johnson. The allegations highlight instances where Judge Johnson allegedly expressed aggressive behaviors, used aggressive language, and continued prolonged verbal harassment, creating hostile and uncomfortable work environments. On January 21st of 2020, a judge with the 11th Judicial District ordered Judge Johnson only sit in Oswego. That order was later rescinded, allowing Johnson to sit at either Parsons or Oswego. And then the original order was reinstated in July of 2021. However, according to Thurman, this action had little effect on any issues and resulted in her submitting a letter of resignation effective December 2021. Thurman is now suing for damages and various costs. Judge Johnson's office declined our request for comment. We also reached out to both Thurman's attorney and the Kansas Attorney General, but we have not yet received a response. A Pittsburgh resident says she got video of her neighbor brutally abusing a dog. The incident happened on Tuesday. The following pictures, though, may be disturbing to some viewers. Now, these images sent by Fatima Bader appear to show a man choking a dog and hitting the animal's face. These aren't the images. After recording the scene from her window, Fatima says she called animal control, who did not answer. Then she contacted police.
When I walked to the window, I saw the guy brutally beating the dog, choking him, beating him, pulling him from his ears, dragging him everywhere. He suffered so many injuries because he was spitting blood.
According to Fatima, this is the video we were referring to, authorities removed the dog from the property. KOAM tried contacting the man who appears on the video but was unable to get a hold of him. Pittsburgh Police Department says 19-year-old Shantez Wright was issued a court summons for cruelty to an animal. On Wednesday, Pitt State hosted a discussion about plans for a Center for Nursing Leadership in Kansas. Several Kansas nursing schools came to PSU for the discussion, and that continues a previous meeting in Topeka. Officials say a nursing leadership center would strengthen the nursing pipeline, making it easier and more efficient to develop nursing leaders in the state.
If you don't have enough nurses, you either close beds or reduce services or hire agency staff at a much higher cost. So we're here tonight in Pittsburgh to work on some of the systemic issues that contribute to a shortage of nurses.
According to PSU, Kansas is one of 10 states that does not have a state nursing workforce center. A Joplin woman loses her life when the car she's riding in crashes into a brick mailbox. The crash occurred last night at about 8:30 along River Road, just east of Main Street in Joplin. Chevy Cobalt traveling west on River Road left the roadway to the left and overturned into a large brick mailbox. The driver of the vehicle suffered minor injuries. The passenger, Liberty Fowler of Joplin, was pronounced dead at the scene. And a head-on collision in Lynn County takes the life of a Blue Mound, Kansas man. On Wednesday at about 7:30 p.m., authorities responded to reports of a crash on Highway K7 just outside of Mound City, Kansas. Troopers say a 1992 Ford F-150 traveling south crossed the center line and struck a 1977 Kenworth head-on. The F-150 came to a rest in the southbound ditch and caught fire. The driver of the F-150, Denver Lee Reagan Jr., was pronounced dead at the scene. Next of kin was notified. The driver of the Kenworth suffered no apparent injuries. On Wednesday, the Atkinson Municipal Airport in Pittsburgh announced plans for expansion projects. The airport hosted an open house, and that's where they announced plans for an apron reconstruction and an expansion project. People who were there got to enjoy refreshments at the terminal building, meet local pilots and airport users, and gain insights into the upcoming improvements at the airport.
Initiate a project to reconstruct the parking apron at the Pittsburgh Municipal Airport. So project will reconstruct and expand the existing aircraft parking apron. It will allow us to safely and efficiently serve both jet traffic and single engine general aviation traffic.
Construction on the projects is set to begin July 5th and finish in the late fall. Some Southwest Missouri art lovers have a chance to view a piece of art that's not usually on public display. Heritage by Sherry Petty is on display at Southwest Missouri Bank Neosho North. It's usually on display in Benton Elementary School, but due to renovations, it'll be at SMB for the next 3 months. The painting is a large acrylic artwork commissioned in 2006 by the Newton County Tourism Council, influenced by the regionalist painter Thomas Hart Benton, a Neosho native.
So we thought we had a 7x7 mural coming in, and then it was a 9x7 mural coming in. So we didn't actually have a big enough space to hang it here, but it's still here and we want people to come see it. It's a good place to come see it because not everybody's at the school.
The painting focuses on the history of Neosho and Newton County and includes references to Neosho's annual Dogwood Tour and the city's nickname as the Flower Box City. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Springfield Sports Commission and Missouri Hall of Fame releases its yearly awards. Plus, some siblings set up a lemonade stand to help raise money for school supplies, and how gas stoves are linked to leukemia. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
How do we decide what hotel to book?
.com for complete details.
The Springfield Sports Commission and Missouri Sports Hall of Fame released its yearly awards, and plenty of athletes from the four states area were represented. Foremost among them, Pitt State basketball player and former El Dorado Springs standout Macy Mays. Who wins the Girls Athlete of the Year award? And she was the Class 3 Player of the Year in basketball, averaging 25 points, 7 rebounds per game, as well as being All-State in volleyball. Meanwhile, Luke Gall from Carthage High School wins the award for the top linebacker or defensive back, not to mention his contributions as a running back. Those aren't the only award winners, though. Webb City's Abigail Street takes home the Girls Cross Country Award. Chloe Miller from Carl Junction wins the Girls Swimming and Diving Award. Isabella Renfro from Seneca and Eli Czar from Neosho win the Girls and Boys Wrestling Awards. Then Monette's Jackson Bailey is the best in boys golf. That full list of winners is also available on the Springfield Sports Commission's website. In local baseball, the Joplin Outlaws continue their road trip that's only taken them to one spot so far, Des Moines, Iowa. Joplin won both ends of a doubleheader last night as they played the Peak Prospects for the third time in 2 days. Outlaws got the best of Des Moines in each end of the doubleheader. Tight one all the way throughout, but the Outlaws get a 3-2 win. That's now 3 victories in a row for Joplin. On top of that, it brings the Outlaws back into a tie for second place in the Mink League South Division. Right now, they're sitting behind Sedalia and Jeff City in the standings. Well, Miami police say they are looking into allegations of assault and battery involving Miami Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill. The assault allegedly happened over the weekend. Tavares Jones has the details.
Miami-Dade police say they're now investigating an allegation of an assault and battery involving Tyreek Hill. They say it took place on Sunday, June 18th. According to the Sun-Sentinel, the incident happened at Hollover Park. The star wide receiver posting a recent video of him being out on a boat with his agent and Channel 7 Dolphins insider Drew Rosenhaus. It's unclear as to when the video was taken, but it was posted over the weekend. The post only saying he was in a 45-minute battle with a shark and quite good times. Tyreek Hill has faced legal troubles in the past, most notably back in 2019. He was named in a child abuse report, though he was never charged with a crime in that case. The Miami Dolphins releasing a statement saying, quote, "We are aware of the situation and have been in contact with Tyreek, his representatives, and the NFL. We reserve further comment at this time." As for the specifics of the charges and what unfolded here at the Hollover Park Marina, those details not yet released. Meanwhile, it's been reported that the National Football League will conduct their own investigation into what really happened here this past Sunday.
Now, Hill, who many consider to be the best wideouts in the NFL, is about to start his second season. Still to come, how a new report is highlighting an alarming trend. And we've got another check of that forecast and at least a couple of rain chances out there. We'll have more on that when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:18 on this Thursday morning across the 4 states, and we've got ourselves another warm one. We're going to be just a little bit cooler than yesterday, but not by much, and we could see a pop-up storm or two as we head into the afternoon, so let's head into the afternoon. We're looking at partly cloudy skies later, and then as you can see, we could see a couple of stray pop-up storms. These look to be mostly in southeast Kansas and into parts of northeast Oklahoma. That's not to say we couldn't see one elsewhere, but they're looking to be primarily in those locations as we head into the afternoon and evening hours tonight. We're not anticipating any strong or severe storms, so that's some good news, but at least a couple of us may get some much needed rain. MoDOT camera 20th and range line, we're looking good so far, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. Of course, that's just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and range line, and a handful of clouds that we can get a little daylight out there, but nothing too crazy. Sitting at 70, so quite mild. Dew point humidity up there again, and they'll be like that through today, so making it just a little bit uncomfortable out there. We're sitting at 65 in Fort Scott is one of the cool spots. 67 in Nevada, got 71 Neodesha Parsons, 70 Chautauqua, Miami, Neosho, Carthage, and sitting at 68 over in Monette. We get our day started. We're going to start out with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures low 80s by late morning instead of the mid 80s. That's why I mean we're that much cooler. Afternoon highs today looking primarily in the upper 80s out there. We'll go partly cloudy by the afternoon. We've got that possibility of some occasional pop-up storms out there. Once we lose the heating of the day, those begin to die out. And we'll be a little cooler tonight as well, dropping back into the low to mid 60s under partly cloudy skies. Could see 1 or 2 pop-up storms tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, again, partly cloudy, hot, low 90s again. Most of us staying dry. Some scattered thunderstorms possible for us on Saturday, mid-90s. We stay in the low 90s through the other half of the weekend and into the first part of next week. Maybe a couple of thunderstorms in our southern counties Sunday afternoon and evening. Partly cloudy Monday, isolated thunderstorms possible Tuesday, back to the mid-90s by Wednesday and Thursday. And then some additional possible thunderstorm chances as we head into Friday evening and Saturday morning of next week. Well, a group of siblings have been running a lemonade stand for 6 years. The reason? Well, to help raise money for school supplies and clothes. However, they're now doing it for different reasons. Samantha Condra has what those are.
Which do you recommend?
The mix.
The mix? Okay, yes.
The Bloxton kids' idea of selling lemonade started to help them get money for school supplies and clothes. But now there's an even bigger reward.
It's really good because I get to meet a lot of new people every day. So it gives me more confidence in doing my lemonade stand.
The 10-year-old is also gaining skills she'll use down the road.
Like learning how to count money better and learning how it'd be like to have my own business when I'm older.
Navy's mother Danielle agrees that even though money was the initial goal, the learning experience will last forever.
It gives them the sense of, having money and what the value of money is, which I think is important too.
Neighbors keep coming back each summer to donate, and Danielle says it's for a good reason.
People love to see how much they've grown and the passion that they still have to do it. They bought the lemonade stand for me, like after I paid for it, they paid for it, so they were the owners and they make their own hours. They're the ones that want to be out here.
They're known for being the Putnam Street Lemonade Stand, and that's because they have the
Hashtag best lemonade in the 08.
Very cool there. And that brings us to our question this morning. Have you recently raised money for a cause? Yes or no? Well, we want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through the app, and of course you can take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new report is highlighting alarming trends across the country when it comes to health care. The nonprofit, the Commonwealth Fund, released its 2023 scorecard on state health system performance Thursday. The report looks at all 50 states and the District of Columbia on 58 measures of health outcomes, equity, and affordability. Researchers say they found a surge in preventable deaths in every state, largely driven by COVID-19 deaths. Now, according to the report, the maternal mortality rate nearly doubled between 2018 and 2021. Researchers point to COVID-19 as a contributing factor in more than 30% of those deaths. Most obstetrician gynecologists are worried about the effects of revoking the federal right to an abortion. That's according to a new survey by KFF. Organizations surveyed hundreds of practicing OBGYNs nationwide about their experiences since the Supreme Court's decision last year. More than 2/3 said the ruling has worsened their ability to respond to pregnancy-related emergencies and exacerbated pregnancy-related mortality. About a quarter of OBGYNs said they had patients who could not get an abortion they wanted. Half of those were in states where abortion is banned. We'll have more on this in our 6 o'clock show. Food and Drug Administration is developing new nutrition labels that will go on the front of packaged foods. That's in the hope that the information will be more clear and easily understood so consumers can make healthier choices and avoid diet-related chronic diseases. FDA also believes the new labeling will encourage the food industry to develop healthier products that Americans will want to buy. The agency is pushing to have these new front label regulations out by December. The labels would be in addition to existing nutrition facts already found on the back of packaged foods. A chemical released from gas stoves could increase homeowners' chances of developing leukemia. A study by researchers from Stanford University found gas stoves can release high levels of benzene, which is a chemical associated with increased risk of leukemia. Study shows one stovetop burner set to 350 degrees can raise indoor benzene levels higher than from secondhand smoke. Researchers say proper ventilation can reduce indoor chemical levels, but exhaust fans were unable to eliminate benzene exposure. Study also found bedrooms also had benzene concentrations higher than national and international health benchmarks. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a mild start to our Thursday morning. We've also got the possibility of at least a couple of pop-up thunderstorms as we head into this afternoon. We'll have more on that complete forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, it may not be Wednesday, but we're pulling out anything pink as Mean Girls comes to Joplin High School.
And we've got a fairly mild start for our Thursday morning across the 4 states. Some pop-up storms possible. We'll tell you who's more likely to see those rain chances coming up.
And Joplin's newest restaurant makes an impact in the community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a bit on the mild side out there again this morning. But the good news is we are going to be about that much cooler than yesterday.
Woo!
That much cooler. It's not going to be a significant impact, but at least it's not into the low 90s today, although some of us may still possibly reach that. We've also got the possibility of at least a couple of pop-up storms. Now, these are going to be confined to a couple of specific areas. So we're going to take a look at the future track and show you where those pop-up storm chances are looking to be. As we head into the afternoon, we'll start to transition to partly cloudy skies. And there you can see some of these scattered storms out there across southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. And that's really where they're going to be confined. Now, I know southeast Kansas needs the rain. This is not the rain you need, though. This is just not going to do much for you other than maybe make it a little muggier out there. But some rain's better than no rain. But as you can see, for the most part, as we go through the afternoon and into the evening, those will be confined into southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. Not to say we couldn't see one in parts of southwest Missouri, but the odds are more favorable for some pop-ups here. Could see a couple of morning showers Friday, and then as we head into Friday afternoon, 1 or 2 additional pop-up storms possible as well, with slightly better rain chances as we head into the weekend. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line. We are looking good so far, getting a little daylight in that sky. Traffic flowing nicely on the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. And our camera at 7th in range line. You can see a few high clouds out there. Nothing too bad. Sitting mild, though. 70 in Joplin, dew point at 64, humidity at 81%. So like it's been the last several days, it's not going to be overly oppressive, but it's going to be just enough that it's going to be uncomfortable as we head into the afternoon hours. 64. Cool spot there in Fort Scott. 73 in Chanute is the warm spot. 71 Yates Center, Neodesha, Parsons. 70 Miami, Neosho, and Carthage. We get our day started. We're going to start off with those mostly clear skies out there. Low 80s instead of the mid 80s as we head into the late morning. Then we'll see a few more clouds go partly cloudy this afternoon. Then we see those pop-up thunderstorm chances again, mainly in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. And as is the usual course here, once we lose the heating of the day, we lose those pop-up thunderstorms. We're also a pinch cooler this evening as well as we go back into the low to mid 60s. So still mild, but a little cooler than what it's been here lately. All right, let's look ahead. Low to mid 90s begin to return. Summertime definitely really settling into the 4 states. Again, stray pop-up storm or 2, maybe Friday afternoon. Some scattered storms on Saturday. A few evening thunderstorms possible in our southern counties on Sunday. Partly cloudy Monday, and then morning and then evening. Pop-up thunderstorms or scattered thunderstorms possible Tuesday. Mid-90s out here and additional evening to morning thunderstorm chances as we head toward the end of next week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Well, the classic movie and play Mean Girls is coming to Joplin. Joplin High School is putting on the production. The show tells Katie Herron's story as she transitions into a new school and meets new friends, such as the plastic leader, Regina George. In total, the kids spent only about 4 weeks rehearsing to put on this phenomenal show.
when you're in high school doing theater, you're playing adults or someone so much older, so far removed from things you experience. And so they were excited to be able to portray characters that are going through the same things they're going through and, you know, living in the world they live in.
Tickets are $10 for adults and $8 for students and seniors. You can see it this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. And if you stick around for our 7 o'clock show, we're going to meet two of the cast members from the upcoming Mean Girls production.
We're inviting community members in to visit and to take part in this music together with them, whether it's toe tapping or clapping or however they're enjoying and taking part in this music and sharing in that joy of music today.
Ozark Sky performed later in the day at the Neosho Newton County Library. Joplin's newest restaurant is already making an impact in the community. The popular sandwich chain Jersey Mike's Cubs grand opening took place on Wednesday, and to kick off their launch, they're supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters of Jasper and Newton counties. It's part of the restaurant's commitment to local communities. They're donating 100% of their sales to the nonprofit.
Jersey Mike's, always for their grand opens, gives all the money to charity. With Big Brothers and Big Sisters, we just, perfect partnership with us. Mentoring is a big thing with Jersey Mike's, as well as some of us have been Big Brothers Big Sisters mentors in our earlier lives. So easy partnership with them.
My bad, the name of this restaurant is Jersey Mike's Subs, not Jersey Mike Cubs. It's located at 1702 South Rangeline, across the street from Academy Sports and Outdoors. Alzheimer's is something that affects nearly everyone in some way, and on Wednesday, people walked around downtown Pittsburgh and took photos of meaningful and memorable places and things related to Alzheimer's and dementia. It's part of a fundraiser for Alzheimer's research.
Walk to take photos that represent individuals' perspectives and thoughts about the experience of dementia or caregiving. And then those photos will be featured tonight at the opening reception for a photo exhibit that has similar photographs. It's out at the Bicknell Center at Pittsburgh.
After the walk, there was a reception at the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts where people could display their photos. And those photos will be on display through Monday. Well, this morning we're discussing raising money for a cause.
Yeah, the Bloxon kids' idea of selling lemonade started to help them get money for school supplies and clothes, but now there's an even bigger reward. 10-year-old is also gaining skills that she'll use down the road.
Navy's mother, Danielle, agrees that even though money was the initial goal, the learning experience will last forever. The neighbors keep coming back each summer to donate, and it's for a good reason. Not only is it to see how they've grown and the passion they have for the lemonade stand, but they're known as the Putnam Street Lemonade Stand and having the best lemonade there.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Have you recently raised money for a cause? So far, 33% of you say that you have, and 67% of you say that you have not. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. The future is looking bright for the future of sunglasses.
Plus, a store in Mexico welcomes stray dogs to help them escape the heat. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News, and here's a live look from Rainbow Bridge in Cherokee County, Kansas. Topping World Watch, at least 4 people are hurt after an explosion in a building on Paris's left bank. Police say the explosion ignited a fire near the domed Pantheon monument, and people were evacuated from nearby buildings, and the neighborhood was cordoned off. Authorities have no word on the cause, and they would not confirm reports that a gas explosion was behind the blast. A German man in a bulletproof vest was arrested on Tuesday after trying to enter the U.S. Embassy in Paraguay without proper documents. Police say the man, identified as Philip Kohlberg, and had 2 guns and ammunition in his vehicle. He told authorities he wanted to request political asylum because he was receiving threats. Kohlberg told local media while he was shopping, quote, "Many people were coming to kill me." And the police commander said he was arrested because he did not have an appointment or the documents needed to enter the grounds. Climate protesters use a prop that appears to transform the Eiffel Tower into a giant wind turbine. Activists held up netting with a turbine on Wednesday to create the illusion of the Eiffel Tower as a windmill. The floating invisible banner is aimed at drawing attention to climate change ahead of an international summit in Paris. Dozens of world leaders will converge for the summit for a new global financial pact meeting beginning today. The summit is aimed at building a new contract between countries to address climate change and the global crisis. International companies including Amazon, Marriott, and Hilton have vowed to hire thousands of refugees in Europe. The announcement came before World Refugee Day on Tuesday. More than 40 corporations have joined in on the pledge. They say they'll hire or train about 250,000 refugees in total who are currently seeking safety in Europe. Many of those refugees have fled from the Ukrainian war. Amazon says they will hire at least 5,000 refugees over the course of the next 3 years. Company says the new addition of diversity to its workforce will make its business stronger. Bolivia's indigenous communities celebrate the Andean New Year on Wednesday. Several communities in the Bolivian Andes celebrate with bonfires, rituals, and offerings to their goddess of Mother Earth. Many also gathered early to receive the first rays of sunlight of the new year. Celebration coincides with the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. Well, most summer vacations consist of 3 things: sunshine, sand, and cell phones. Well, this island off the coast of Finland is encouraging visitors to get a little more sun and a little less screen. The island Okotamio is urging tourists to turn off their phones and enjoy the beauty. The popular spot has to offer without devices, although visitors can choose to unplug or not. Okotamio claims to be the world's first phone-free tourist island. Visitors can spend a quiet night on the island in a tent or a cabin and enjoy pristine nature during the day. Well, the Electra store in Durango, Mexico is welcoming dogs who are trying to escape the high temperatures in the region. TV Azteca was able to capture the canines in the store. The region is going through its 3rd heat wave, where temperatures feel like they're over 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The director of Grupo Salinas gave the green light for Electra stores to welcome dogs since, of course, the heat affects pets. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:46 now on this Thursday, that much closer to Friday and that much closer to the weekend. We've got ourselves another warm one out there, and we could see at least a few pop-up storms as we head into the afternoon. So as we go down the road, here we are about 2, 3 o'clock, get some pop-up storms, and we could see a few more as the afternoon and evening hours progress. These are looking to be primarily in southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. It's not to say we couldn't see 1 or 2 in southwest Missouri, but the better chances are out to the west. And those will, of course, die out once we lose the heating of the day. Now, as we go into our Friday, we could see some morning showers, and then we've got the possibility of a couple of pop-up storms as we head through the afternoon Friday, and here you can see by 6, but this is going to be a lower chance than what we've got at least for today. Then we'll go into the weekend and we'll see some additional rain chances, which we'll talk about. All right, MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. We're looking pretty good out there so far, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, of course, just south of Pittsburgh. And then our camera, 7th and range line. Here comes the sun. Look at those colors on the clouds, looking great out there. Mild, 70. Dew point, humidity, both up there, and like it's been the last several days, they're not going to be oppressive. They're just going to be high enough to make it uncomfortable once we get into the afternoon. We've got 65 in Fort Scott, 73 is the warm spot in Chanute, 71 Neodesha Parsons, 69 Chitopa, 70 Miami, Neosho Carthage, 68 Lamar, Monette, as well as Grove, and 67 over there in Independence. Let's see what happens as we get our morning started. It's going to be a great morning. Sunny skies. Maybe a few clouds throughout the morning, but low 80s instead of mid 80s, so we're going to be a little bit cooler than where we were the last few days, but not by much. We're looking at upper 80s for highs today, partly cloudy skies by this afternoon, and then we'll see those pop-up thunderstorm chances out there. As we head into the evening hours, We stay partly cloudy, pop-up storms begin to die out, and we're still mild overnight, but cooler than where we have been as well, as we're looking at lows in the low to mid 60s instead of closer to 70 degrees like we're at right now. Then we go into the weekend. That's where we see our next possibility of some showers and maybe some thunderstorms out there. So let's skip ahead as we head into Friday afternoon. Again, maybe a few clouds out there, got those pop-up storm chances. Then as we head into Saturday morning, we've got that possibility of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. So we've talked about it before, but since it's been a while, on this map, it's showing where rain could be. It's not saying rain will be all over this area. It's showing where the rain chances are best as we head into Saturday morning. We go into Saturday afternoon and evening, we get hot. Look at Wichita, Oklahoma City, in the hundreds out there. Then we see those storms clear out. Then they'll return. As we go into the overnight and early morning on Sunday, we'll see a few of those stray showers. We'll pause for them in the afternoon, and then they look to possibly return, especially for our southern counties, as we head into Sunday afternoon. So let's take a look now at the 7-day forecast, shall we? All right, we're going to go low 90s tomorrow with those maybe one or two pop-up storms. We've got mid-90s on Saturday, so another hot one out there with those scattered storm chances. The evening storm chances to our south, primarily on Sunday, low 90s again. We're at 91 on Monday, partly cloudy. Tuesday, the reason you see AM and PM is it's going to be something where we'll see some storms in the morning. They'll pause in the afternoon and then return again in the evening across the area. We'll be low 90s. And then it starts to really heat up, at least for a couple of days. Wednesday, Thursday, mid, maybe even upper 90s out there, partly cloudy skies. Then we're watching thunderstorm chances Friday night into Saturday morning. Still quite hot, though, in the low to mid 90s out there. And, of course, we're getting to that time of the year, too. We're starting to see a few more 70-degree readings for our overnight lows. So it's going to stay mild in the evening and pretty darn hot by the afternoon. Of course, summer officially kicking off yesterday, so it's unfortunately that time of year again here in the 4 states. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this. But first, we got another look at the Rainbow Bridge in Cherokee County, just outside of Baxter Springs.
Bands for Brothers, June inside Olson's Ace Hardware in Parsons.
In Ohio, a professor develops new sunglasses using some new technology. Chase Bachman has more on these sunglasses that change at the push of a button.
BGSU professor Dr. Jayaraman Sivaguru has been working in photochemicals for decades. A few years ago, the company Alpha Micron enlisted him to improve their eyewear technology so it can better withstand strong beams of light.
They were interested in enhancing the properties of the product that they are putting in, which in this case is based on liquid crystal technology.
The project led to this, new and improved dimmable protective eyewear that electronically adjusts its tint from clear to dark almost instantly while meeting military standards.
If you can see that there is a film that is being coated, and this is based upon liquid crystal technology. So this is very different from the conventional photochromic lenses, where when you go out in the sunlight, gradually the color will change.
One of Dr. Sivaguru's former students, Sarudi Babaraj, has presented the improved technology to dozens of Fortune 500 companies.
It actually helped me develop and expand my knowledge and understanding about how industry works and how academics can be collaborated with industry.
Wow. Dr. Sivaguru says the technology can also be applied to semiconductors, automotive coatings, and retail, in addition to military and law enforcement applications.
You're driving, suddenly a tunnel comes in, it's bright, your glasses are dark, and then suddenly when you go into a tunnel, it's dark, you cannot really see very well. You just, press the button and then it is transparent and you can see it very well.
Dr. Sivaguru says the improved technology will eventually be used by the Air Force. There's no timeline for when the new lens will be implemented. We'll be right back.
For a free estimate.
$250 million for a house. A Georgian classical mansion called Casa Encantada in the famed Los Angeles community of Bel Air is for sale, and the price tag is $250 million, making it the most expensive home for sale in America. But this is no ordinary abode. The 60-room, 40,000 square foot estate built in the 1930s sits on 8.5 acres adjacent to the Tony Belair Country Club. It also boasts 18-foot ceilings, a huge dining room, card room, a pool bar, and a screening room, lighted tennis and basketball courts, a rose garden, tons of trees, lush landscaping, and a greenhouse. I would hate to see the home's electric bill. And a baby chick that hatched at the New England Aquarium 3 months ago is all grown up. Well, grown up enough to move in with the rest of the penguin colony at the Boston Aquarium. The African penguin is named Bray, a name chosen by the staff because of the donkey-like vocalizations made by African penguins. Bray is now 6.6 pounds. That's more than 42 times her hatch weight. She's surrounded by several relatives in her new habitat, including great-grandmother Deco. At 41 years old, Deco is the oldest penguin at the aquarium. How cute.
We've got ourselves another warm one today. We're going to start the day with these mostly clear skies, pushing low 80s by late morning. We'll start to see a few more clouds, and we'll go partly cloudy by this afternoon. Some pop-up storms possible this afternoon, primarily in southeast Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma, but we could see a stray storm or two in southwest Missouri. We're a little cooler this evening, but still mild as we drop back low to mid-60s. Those thunderstorms will die out as we lose the heating of the day, and we will go partly cloudy overnight. We've got maybe a pop-up storm or two Friday afternoon and evening, otherwise low 90s, mid 90s Saturday with thunderstorm chances. Thunderstorms in our southern counties on Sunday, low 90s, and more storms on Tuesday. We'll be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6, a Joplin woman loses her life in a Wednesday night car crash on River Road.
We've got a mild start to our Thursday morning out there. Maybe some pop-up storms for some of us. We'll talk about those rain chances and how hot it's going to be coming up.
And a nationally known sandwich shop makes more than sandwiches for Joplin. It makes a difference in the community on its first day.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock now on this Thursday morning, almost Friday here in the 4 states. So we're getting closer by the minute to the weekend. It's going to be, I'm excited. I'm ready for a weekend. Feels like it's been a long week. I don't know why. There's nothing spectacular that's happened.
And it's only Thursday.
Yeah, it feels like it's a lot longer week than what it should be. Well, we do have some pop-up thunderstorms possible later this afternoon, primarily in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. So let's take a look down the road. Here we go, about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. There they are. Again, southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. You see a few more of them as we go later into the evening. Again, primarily in southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. That's not to say we couldn't see a stray shower or storm in southwest Missouri, but the better chances are off to the west. We'll be partly cloudy and still pretty darn toasty out there for today. As we go into our Friday, there's that chance of another stray pop-up storm or two, but as you can see, the chances of those are considerably lower. They're a lot more isolated as we head into our Friday afternoon and evening. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. We are looking good. We got some sunlight out there. Nice start to the day. Mild start as well. Save for the KDOT camera, 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and Range Line. Sun's starting to come up out there. We've cooled down a little bit in Joplin, down to 68. Dew point, humidity up there. This has been the trend for the last several days. They're going to be not oppressive, but just high enough to make it somewhat uncomfortable through the afternoon hours. We're sitting at 67 in Nevada, 66 Iola, 70 Yates Center, Neodesha, Parsons, 72 in Chanute, 70 Miami, and 69 in Neosho. We get our morning started. We'll have those mostly clear skies, low 80s by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at highs primarily in the upper 80s, maybe a couple of lower 90s out there. We'll go partly cloudy, and then we'll start to see some of those pop-up thunderstorm chances out there as we head into the afternoon. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A Joplin woman loses her life when the car she was in crashes into a brick mailbox. The crash occurred last night at about 8:30 along River Road, just east of Main Street in Joplin. A Chevy Cobalt traveling west on River Road left the roadway to the left and overturned into a large brick mailbox. The driver of the vehicle suffered minor injuries. The passenger, Liberty Fowler of Joplin, was pronounced dead at the scene. Head-on collision in Lynn County takes the life of a Blue Mound, Kansas man on Wednesday at about 7:30 p.m. Authorities responded to reports of a crash on Highway K7 just outside of Mound City, Kansas. Troopers say a 1992 Ford F-150 traveling south crossed the center line and struck a 1977 Kenworth head-on. The F-150 came to rest in the southbound ditch and caught fire. The driver of the F-150, Denver Lee Reagan Jr., was pronounced dead at the scene. Next of kin was notified. The driver of the Kenworth did not suffer any apparent injuries. More equipment has moved into the search area in the race to find the submersible that went missing Sunday while exploring the wreckage of the Titanic. Now, according to official estimates, time and oxygen could be running out. And meanwhile, more safety concerns about OceanGate, the company that owns the watercraft, come to light. Jared Hill has the latest on those concerns and the frantic search to rescue the 5 people on board.
The U.S. Coast Guard says the search area for a submersible missing in the North Atlantic has expanded to twice the size of Connecticut. It's all in the race to find and save the 5 people on board.
There have been multiple reports of noises, and every one of those noises is being analyzed, tracked, looked for patterns, and reported upon.
But officials say it's unclear whether those noises are coming from the Titan, nature, even the wreckage of the Titanic itself. Experts note at 2.5 miles deep into the ocean, getting the Titan to the surface won't be easy.
Picking out a submersible amongst the piles of whatever that are down there, iron and other parts of the ship, is going to be very difficult.
Red flags about safety started emerging years before the disappearance. In 2018, industry experts sent OceanGate a letter bringing up concerns about the vessel. Engineer Bart Kemper was one of the people who signed it.
This is a one-off experimental that follows no code and follows no jurisdiction. They're self-certifying. It does not mean it's inherently wrong. It just means there's more uncertainty.
CBS News has also learned that a couple from Florida sued OceanGate's CEO in February after they struggled to get their deposits refunded for multiple canceled trips. According to court documents published by Fort Myers paper The News Press, one trip was canceled because of, quote, equipment failure. Jared Hill, CBS News.
In an interview with CBS News last year, the company's CEO, Stockton Rush, said the submersible is safe. He's believed to be the pilot on the missing vessel, along with the passengers, which include British and French citizens. The Coast Guard says it has kept the consulates general from each country appraised of rescue efforts. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Joplin's newest restaurant makes an impact in the community on its first day. Sandwich chain Jersey Mike's Subs grand opening took place Wednesday, and to kick off the launch, they are supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters of Jasper and Newton counties. It's part of the restaurant's commitment to local communities, and they're donating 100% of the sales to the nonprofit.
So we provide one-to-one mentoring opportunities for at-risk children in our community. So these funds will go toward match support, background screenings, match events, just an assortment of items.
Jersey Mike's is at 1702 South Range Line, across the street from Academy Sports and Outdoors. Alzheimer's disease affects nearly everyone in some way, and on Wednesday, people walked around downtown Pittsburgh and took photos of meaningful and memorable places and things related to Alzheimer's and dementia. It's part of a fundraiser for Alzheimer's research.
Express things that you may not be able to otherwise, or just in a unique way. And to me, I found it to be very therapeutic for myself, and I've heard that from other people too, and research has shown that as well, that we can engage in these creative activities as a way to engage in expression.
After the walk, there was a reception at the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts where folks could display their photos. Those photos will be on display through Monday. Well, some Southwest Missouri art lovers will get the chance to view a piece of art that's not usually on public display. Heritage by Sherry Petty is on display at the Southwest Missouri Bank Neosho North. It's usually on display in Benton Elementary School, but due to renovations, it'll be at SMB for the next 3 months. The painting is a large acrylic artwork commissioned in 2006 by the Newton County Tourism Council, influenced by the regionalist painter Thomas Hart Benton, a Neosho native.
So we thought we had a 7x7 mural coming in, and then it was a 9x7 mural coming in. So we didn't actually have a big enough space to hang it here, but it's still here and we want people to come see it. It's a good place to come see it because not everybody's at the school.
Well, the painting focuses on the history of Neosho and Newton County and includes references to Neosho's annual Dogwood Tour and the city's nickname as the Flower Box City. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the battle over abortion rights continues.
1 year after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and access to abortion depends on where you live. I'm Natalie Brand in Washington with what the changes have meant for some of the health clinics serving women.
Plus, enjoy the summer sun, but don't forget your skin. We've got tips from the experts on how to choose the sunscreen that's right for you. And Chris returns with another look at your Thursday forecast and what the 4 states can expect heading into the weekend. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Rainbow Bridge in Galena, Kansas. Topping Nation Watch this morning, an Air National Guardsman accused of leaking highly classified military documents faced a federal judge in Massachusetts on Wednesday. 21-year-old Jack Texiera entered a not guilty plea to 6 federal charges, including willful retention and transmission of classified information related to national defense. Investigators believe Texiera shared top secret documents on the social media platform Discord. Prosecutors say the documents included sensitive intelligence information on allies and adversaries, plus details of the war in Ukraine. Defense attorneys said Texiera did not expect the information posted on Discord to spread to other digital platforms. At least 3 people are dead after an apparent tornado struck the West Texas town of Matador on Wednesday night. Mayor Pat Smith says a number of people were also injured in Matador, many structures completely destroyed. At least 1 person who died was killed when a Dollar General store was flattened by the storm. Cafe and local service station also sustained extensive damage. Across the state of Texas, more than 400,000 residents have lost power from severe storms. Zookeeper featured in Netflix's Tiger King is facing prison time for buying endangered lion cubs. On Tuesday, Virginia's Attorney General announced Bhagavan Antle has been convicted of 4 felonies in Frederick County. Antle was known as Doc Antle in the hit docu-series. He was found guilty of 2 counts of wildlife trafficking and 2 counts of conspiring to traffic wildlife Friday. After a week-long trial, prosecutors say he illegally purchased endangered lion cubs in Virginia, but planned to display the animals for profit at his wildlife and safari park in South Carolina. Antle is scheduled to be sentenced September 14th. The saga continues. Well, 1 year after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, eliminating the federal constitutional right to abortion with its ruling in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, almost every state has taken action to either restrict or expand abortion access. Natalie Brand takes a look at what that means for clinics on both sides of the issue.
And for 38 years, our practice for the day that Roe versus Wade was overturned. So this is when the real work begins.
Sylvia Johnson runs a pregnancy center in Houston, Texas, a state with one of the country's strictest abortion bans.
Women are needing more services, and they're looking for places so that those services can be provided for them.
Johnson estimates demand has grown 20% for the support her faith-based nonprofit provides. She's doubled medical staff, added case managers, and opened an additional location.
Are the cases tough? Yes. Is it hard? Yes. Is there a lot of fear gripping this culture and the community and the women that we're serving? Yes, we're seeing a lot of that.
Texas is one of 20 states that has banned or limited access to abortion since the Dobbs decision, while just as many states have strengthened the right to an abortion. Courts have blocked or paused some of the bans, with legal challenges ongoing.
The current state of the courts and the restrictions is nearly impossible for us to follow.
Dr. Shanthi Ramesh serves as the chief medical officer for the Virginia League for Planned Parenthood, which is seeing a rise in out-of-state patients seeking an abortion.
Yeah, so we're seeing patients from really across the whole Southeast.
Dr. Ramesh says her clinic has also expanded services such as medication abortion.
At our 4 sites, we're seeing patients almost every day of the week. We've opened up some weekend availability or evening availability to try to meet the needs.
Ramesh and Johnson are working to keep up with different needs as the Dobbs decision changes where abortion can be accessed in America. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
As for the political battle over abortion, a new poll from USA Today and Suffolk University found the abortion issue is tied as the 5th most important topic on voters' minds, behind inflation, immigration, threats to democracy, and gun control. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves another mild day across the 4 states and some pop-up storm chances as well. We're going to take a look at your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:19 now on this Thursday morning. We've got another warm one. We've got a mild start to the day, warm temperatures later, and maybe some pop-up storms. So let's take a look at the future track, see what those pop-up storm potentials look like. They are primarily confined to southeast Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma as we head into the afternoon. While some partly cloudy skies associated with that, but as you can see, the better chances, at least for a stray storm or two, are going to be across our western counties. So anywhere in southeast Kansas, anywhere in northeast Oklahoma. Now, that's not to say that we couldn't see a pop-up storm or two in southwest Missouri. It's just the more likely chances are off to the west. Now, because these are pop-up storms, you may remember from before, once we lose the daytime heating, these suckers start to die out, and that's going to be the end of them. Then we'll head into our Friday afternoon and evening. A couple of stray pop-up storms possible, but this is a much more isolated chance. So we've put that chance up there, but it's a much more isolated chance. And again, once we lose daytime heating, they move on out of here. Let's take a look outside. All right, we've looked outside. This is the MoDOT camera, of course, at 20th and Range Line, and we're looking pretty good. We got plentiful sunshine, mostly clear skies out there. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh, and our camera at 7th and Range Line, looking back toward the sunrise, starting to peek up over the trees here. Some nice coloring to the sky. A handful of clouds out there, nothing too crazy, but we're going partly cloudy. 68 dew point. 64 humidity, 87%. This has been the trend the last few days. It will continue to be the trend as we have not overly oppressive humidity or dew points out there, but just enough to make it uncomfortable as we head into the day. 72 in Chanute as one of the warmer spots, and the cooler spots looking to be Iola and Fort Scott and Sedan, all at 66. 67 in Pittsburgh, 70 Yates Center, Neodesha, Parsons, Miami, 69 in Neosho, and 68 Carthage, Lamar, and Monette. We get our day started. Well, those mostly clear skies, a few clouds out there, not many, low 80s by late morning. Then we'll head into the afternoon. We'll go partly cloudy. We'll start to see those chances for those pop-up thunderstorms across, again, in southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. Highs today, that much cooler than what they were yesterday. We're looking mostly at upper 80s. It's not to say we couldn't see a lower 90-degree reading or two out there, but we're looking mostly at upper 80s. Tonight, pop-up storms die out. We go partly cloudy, mild but cooler overnight as we drop back into the low to mid 60s. I wanted to talk about our weekend storm chances. So we're going to hit this button a couple of times and we're going to fast forward into Saturday. So we go to Saturday morning, could see some scattered thunderstorms across the area. So some much needed rain out there. Not a ton of it, but some. Here's the deal though. Once those clear out, they're going to leave us hot and muggy. Check out these temperatures by 7 p.m. 7 p.m., not 3 p.m., 7. 100 in Wichita, 101 in Oklahoma City, mid-90s for us here in our area. Then we'll see some additional storms late Saturday, possibly into early Sunday morning, and then our southern counties could get a few additional thunderstorms, mainly along and south of I-44 as we head into Sunday evening. So let's look at the 7-day. We got that low end chance for some storms tomorrow. We got the low 90s, hot for us on Saturday. Those evening storms to the south on Sunday, low 90s, low to mid 90s as we kick off the next work week. Some storms Tuesday morning, a break in the afternoon, and then maybe some evening storms out there as well. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, certain foods high in omega-3 fatty acids may have success slowing the progression of ALS. That's according to a study published in the American Academy of Neurology. Research shows an association with people who eat foods like walnuts, canola oil, and pumpkin seeds, and a slower physical decline from the disease. Researchers believe omega-6 fatty acid may be beneficial as well. Well, some cells in older men lose their Y chromosome, and that absence hurts the body's ability to fight cancer. Investigators with Cedars-Sinai Cancer found it can lead to aggressive bladder cancer, but on the flip side, it somehow also makes the disease more vulnerable and easier to treat. Researchers are now developing a new test for the loss of the Y chromosome, which could then lead to more targeted treatments. A small zap to the brain may be helpful to people suffering from a mini stroke. Researchers at UCLA Health direct highly targeted electrical stimulation to the area of the brain that has low blood flow or is suffering from the stroke. They found 2/3 of the threatened brain tissue were rescued in the 24 hours after the treatment. With the official start of summer, it's important to remember to protect your skin from the sun's damaging rays. Nikki Batiste shows us how to choose the best protection.
With countless sunscreens on the market, trying to choose which is the most safe and effective can be overwhelming.
I tell people to protect their skin every single day with a broad spectrum sunscreen, SPF 30 or higher.
Dr. Elizabeth Hale says broad spectrum protects from both UVA and UVB rays.
What's the difference between UVA and UVB?
That SPF number, that refers to a product's ability to block UVB, which are shorter wavelength, and those are the rays that cause sunburn. But every single day, ultraviolet A rays, or UVA, those are longer wavelength. Those penetrate every day, year-round, even through windows, through clouds, even in the middle of winter. They can contribute to skin cancer and otherwise aging of the skin.
There are two basic types of sunscreen, chemical and mineral. Mineral sunscreens are physical. They work like a shield, sitting on the surface of your skin and deflecting the sun's rays. The main ingredients are titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, minerals that are classified as safe and effective by the FDA. If you plan to swim or sweat, you may want a chemical sunscreen. It works like a sponge, absorbing the sun's rays. Although those chemicals can be detected in the blood weeks after they were used, some doctors say that does not mean they are dangerous. The FDA says more studies need to be done.
We recommend that consumers avoid products using oxybenzone, but use is associated with potential impact on our endocrine system and development.
To prevent skin cancer, Dr. Hale says it's important to wear sunscreen every day and get your skin checked once a year. If you're worried about sunscreen chemicals, try a children's product. They tend to have fewer and are just as effective. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a pretty mild start across the area. We've got those sunny skies, a few clouds out there. And as we head into the afternoon, we could see an occasional pop-up storm or two, say starting around 2, 3 o'clock. Now, these are primarily going to be in southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. It's not to say we couldn't see one in southwest Missouri, but the better chances are off to the west. We'll still be a little bit on the hot side today, and hotter weather is on the way. We'll have another full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
There's always something to celebrate. Find a location near you at jakesfireworks.com.
Right now at 6:30, the sky's the limit for the Atkinson Municipal Airport in Pittsburgh as it announces big plans for expansion and reconstruction.
We got a mild start for us across the 4 states today. Some sunny skies, a few clouds. Pop-up storms are possible, though, as we head into the afternoon. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And KOAM's Fernanda Silva takes us to Pittsburgh, where an incident of animal abuse is caught on camera. Now authorities want to talk to the man on the video.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we got a mild start out there across the area. Not too bad. Some clouds. But then we got some pop-up storm chances, at least for a few of us, as we head into the afternoon hours, and slightly better rain chances as we head into the weekend. So let's take a look at the future track. We go into the afternoon, say around 2, 3 o'clock. There you go. There are those pop-up storms, and they're expected to be primarily confined to southeast Kansas and into northeastern Oklahoma as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. As we mentioned, it's not to say we couldn't see a stray storm or two in southwest Missouri, but the better chances for at least a couple of these will be into southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. And as you know, with the trend with pop-up thunderstorms, as we lose the heating of the day, we will lose those pop-up thunderstorms. We do have those chances again tomorrow. They're considerably lower as they're expected to be considerably more isolated, but we may see a pop-up storm or two as we head into our Friday evening as well. Now, the good news is at this point, we're not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms from this activity, just some rainfall, at least for some of us. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking back toward the west. You can see the sun is shining, traffic is moving, looking great. And same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, looking back off roughly to the north, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera at 7th and range line, there are some partly cloudy skies out there, otherwise not bad. Mild, 68, dew point humidity high, higher, I should say. And again, they'll be that way through the day, so not oppressively high, but enough to make it uncomfortable. We're going 65 in Fort Scott, 67 Pittsburgh, 70 Parsons, Chetopa, Miami, Neosho, and 69 in Carthage. And as we get our morning started, we're going to have those mostly clear skies, a few clouds out there, low 80s. Highs today, that much cooler than yesterday. We're looking at upper 80s primarily, maybe a couple of lower 90-degree readings, partly cloudy skies. We'll see those pop-up storms this afternoon and this evening out to the west. Well, more on your complete forecast here in just a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A Pittsburgh resident says she got video of her neighbor, quote, brutally abusing a dog. The incident happened Tuesday. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story, and we want to warn you, the following video may be disturbing to some viewers.
Warning. The following video may be disturbing to some viewers. A man chokes a dog and hits the animal's face brutally. His neighbor watches from her window while recording the video. She cries as the dog whines.
When I walked to the window, I saw the guy brutally beating the dog, choking him, beating him, pulling him from his ears, dragging him everywhere. He suffered so many injuries because he was spitting blood.
The video was recorded on Tuesday morning. Fatima says she called the animal control, who didn't answer. Then she contacted the police. According to Fatima, authorities removed the dog from the property. She also said that weeks prior to the video recording, she had already had another incident involving the dog.
The dog was loose and he was a bit aggressive at me. He was in my yard. I was trying to get it to the car with my kids. So I called animal control, they came, the same officer came, Jason. And he said, okay, I'm gonna keep him busy, you go in the car and go wherever you wanna go to work or whatever you wanna do.
Now she's concerned about her kids, her dogs, and her own safety.
So I was walking to the car and he was like, hey, you need to watch, you watch out. Something's gonna happen and your dogs might get hurt.
The Pittsburgh Police Department states that 19-year-old Chantes Wright was issued a court summons for cruelty to an animal.
And my daughter, I don't know how to wipe that from her memory. And she's asking me, is the dog going to be okay? And she literally told me, can we take the dog in? I want him, I want to save him.
In Pittsburgh, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
KOAM reached out to the man who appears on the video, but we were unable to contact him. Pittsburgh police ask anyone with information related to this incident to contact them. Callers may remain anonymous. Pitt State hosts a discussion concerning plans for a nursing leadership center in Kansas, and several Kansas nursing schools came to PSU for the discussion, which continues a previous meeting in Topeka. Officials say a nursing leadership center would strengthen the nursing pipeline, making it easier and more efficient to develop nursing leaders in the state.
We are standing up a nursing workforce center for the state of Kansas. And it's all about collaboration, working together as opposed to competition. So we are working on issues of pipeline, making sure that students have the science and math that they need in order to enter nursing school and be successful in the profession.
According to Pitt State, Kansas is one of 10 states that does not have a state nursing workforce center. The Atkinson Municipal Airport in Pittsburgh announces plans for expansion projects. The airport hosted an open house on Wednesday, and that's where they announced plans for an apron reconstruction and an expansion project. People who were there got to enjoy refreshments at the terminal building, meet local pilots and airport users, and gain insight into the upcoming improvements at the airport.
Initiate a project to reconstruct the parking apron at the Pittsburgh Municipal Airport. So project will reconstruct and expand the existing aircraft parking apron. It will allow us to safely and efficiently serve both jet traffic and single engine general aviation traffic.
Well, construction on the project is set to begin July 5th and finish in the late fall. Well, on Wednesdays, we wear pink. The classic movie and play Mean Girls is coming to Joplin. Joplin High School's putting on the production. The show tells Katie Herron's story as she transitions into a new school and meets new friends, such as the Plastics leader, Regina George. In total, the kids spent only about 4 weeks rehearsing to put on a phenomenal show.
I love the message behind it, and like the whole arc of everybody is important, and like they're all stars.
Yeah, it's a really good message about friendships and sort of a sense of belonging.
Tickets are $10 for adults and $8 for students and seniors. You can see it this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. A picnic and some live music, and that sounds like a good way to spend your day. The Neosho Missouri Arts Council hosted its Make Music Day event on Wednesday. It gave folks the chance to bring their own lunch and enjoy a free picnic concert. The group, the Buffalo Creek Incident, performed yesterday morning at the Neosho National Fish Hatchery.
To get the community out to our facility, music is a universal language. And so we just wanted people to come out, relax, listen to a little music, and, just kind of get out. And if you haven't, come out to get to know our facility, then this is just another excuse to come out.
Ozark Sky performed later in the day at the Neosho Newton County Library. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Virtual reality could soon become reality as a new VR suit allows the wearer to not just see, but feel and experience.
Plus, we've still got those pop-up thunderstorm chances, at least for some of us as we head into the afternoon. We'll talk about that and our weekend rain chances as well. But first, we've got another live look at the Rainbow Bridge in Baxter Springs. We'll be right back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, Amazon is accused of tricking millions of people into paying for Amazon Prime. Federal Trade Commission is suing the world's largest online retailer. It says Amazon knowingly duped customers into signing up for and renewing its $139 a year Prime service and then made them jump through hoops to cancel. Amazon says the FTC's claims are false. I love my Amazon Prime. Well, lab-grown meat could be served on a menu near you soon. Agriculture Department just approved 2 California companies to sell chicken grown in steel tanks using cells that come from an animal, egg, or a special bank of stored cells. The cell-cultivated chicken will be first available at a restaurant in San Francisco and another one in Washington, D.C., owned by famed chef Jose Andres, before hitting stores. If you could only see my face. And Nintendo has announced that its beloved Super Mario Bros. Game is getting a remake. It will feature new graphics and power-ups for main characters. The updated game comes to Nintendo Switch this fall. It follows the release of one of the year's biggest films, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which has grossed more than $1 billion worldwide. Well, virtual reality could soon feel a lot more real. A VR bodysuit is in the works that adds the sense of touch to the experience, but it's not just for fun. It could also serve those with limited mobility. Christian Benavides reports.
Exploring virtual reality may soon include suiting up. This full VR bodysuit comes complete with soft robotic muscles, meaning you'll be able to feel what you see.
So something that we integrated is that you can let a bird land on your hand and feel it because the muscles are contracting on the suit.
The so-called MetaSuit is the creation of students at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Its purpose, to create a natural feeling for users in order to interact with VR environments like the metaverse.
You're in an entirely other environment. You could be on Mars and you feel something and it feels real.
The artificial muscles, called hazels, are actually pouches filled with a special fluid that can expand or contract with a tiny electric current.
These hazels are quite similar to human muscle. And this is also a reason why we use them, because to have a natural feeling when using hazels muscles on the suit.
Developers say in addition to VR, the technology could allow film directors to better map an actor's movement or even help someone suffering from Parkinson's keep walking.
Okay, that Saturn is way too big. Needs to come back down, please.
And with VR technology already being used in some classrooms, this bodysuit could make those lessons even more immersive. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Developers say they're looking at other potential applications of the technology that might enhance our well-being. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a fairly mild start to the day across the area. We do have the possibility of at least a few pop-up storms for some of us, and then we are watching some scattered storm chances heading into the weekend. We'll take another full look at that forecast here in just a few minutes. And as we've mentioned, we're on the downhill run to the weekend. That sounds like the perfect reason to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. But before we do any of that, why don't we go ahead and take a peek at what's happening on CBS Morning.
I'm Nate Burleson, coming up on CBS Mornings for our American Innovation Series. We take you on board a ship that will help revolutionize the shift to green power. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Thursday birthdays here in the 4 states. We're going to begin with Amaya Berry celebrating #1 today. A very happy birthday to you, Amaya.
Hayes Geffert celebrating birthday #2 this year in Humboldt, Kansas.
And over in Chautauqua, Bo Castle celebrating #4 today. Very happy birthday to you, Bo.
And if Bo is celebrating, that means his great-grandpa, John Castle, is also celebrating. He is 69 years old this year. He is in Columbus.
And over in Pittsburgh, we've got Lindley Harrison celebrating #5. Says, happy birthday, sweetheart, from Nana and Papa. Love you so much.
In Joplin, Caden Greer turning 6 years old this year, chilling in the shades. All right.
And we go back to Pittsburgh, where Madison Nagel is celebrating birthday #22. And in July, she'll be a second-year med student at KCU. And these birthday wishes coming with love from her family.
Karen Valier is now 63 years old, looking great. Looks like she's got her hands full there in Chanute. Happy birthday, Karen.
And Jackie Benham celebrating a birthday over in Carl Junction today. Happy birthday, Jackie.
And Levi and Heather Burge are celebrating 6 years together. Congratulations to the Burges in Seneca.
All right, we love celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Had a pretty good list today. Tanya, how can we continue to celebrate?
All you have to do is send us an email. Send both your anniversary and birthday information to birthdayswithness@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, while you're on our website, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get special deals from local businesses. You also get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So make sure you sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today at KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, so we've been talking about pop-up storms this afternoon. Let's take a look down the road at what we're looking at. By about 2, 3 o'clock, we'll see a few of these stray pop-up storms and could see a few more as the evening progresses. You can see they're relatively isolated, but nonetheless, at least some rain chances out there. Now, they're looking mostly to be in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. Not to say we couldn't see a stray shower or two in southwest Missouri, but the better chances off to the west. Now, because these are pop-up storms, you may remember from our last round of these, once we start to lose the daytime heating, we will lose these thunderstorms as well. Then as we head into our Friday, we have another opportunity for at least 1 or 2 pop-up storms across the area. So it's a much more isolated chance, but you saw a couple there, and then by 6, maybe 1 more popping up out there. Now the good news is, at least with this activity today and tomorrow at this time, we're not anticipating any strong or severe storms. So that is some great news there, because we don't need that severe weather. We just need rain. Unfortunately, though, with pop-up storms, we're not really going to see that much in terms of rain. All right, MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. There goes a bird, probably built a nest inside that traffic pole. I don't know why they do that. That seems like it'd be a really hot and noisy place, but birds will be birds. Otherwise, we have sunny skies out there, and as we look at the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh, well, as you can see, sunny skies out there. And from our camera at 7th and Range Line, we got some partly cloudy skies, nothing too crazy. We've got more sunshine than clouds out there, and we're still a bit on the mild side. 68 in Joplin, dew points up to 64, humidity at 87%, and like it's been the last several days, it's not going to be overly oppressive with the dew points or humidity, but just enough to make it uncomfortable heading into the afternoon. All right, temperatures. We got 66 in Fort Scott, 67 in Nevada, 72 is the warm spot in Chanute, string of 70s, Yates Center, Neodesha, Parsons, Chetopa, Miami, and Neosho. We're sitting at 68 in Monette. We get our morning started. We'll have those mostly clear skies out there, maybe a few clouds. We're going to go to the low 80s by late morning. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Joplin woman loses her life when the car she was traveling in crashes into a brick mailbox. The crash happened last night about 8:30 along River Road just east of Main Street in Joplin. A Chevy Cobalt traveling west on River Road left the roadway to the left and overturned into a large brick mailbox. The driver of the vehicle suffered minor injuries. The passenger, Liberty Fowler of Joplin, was pronounced dead at the scene. On Wednesday, around 7:30 p.m., authorities responded to reports of a crash on Highway K7 just outside of Mound City, Kansas. Troopers say a 1992 Ford F-150 traveling south crossed the center line and struck a 1977 Kenworth head-on. The F-150 came to rest in the southbound ditch and caught fire. The driver of the F-150 was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the Kenworth did not suffer any apparent injuries. On Wednesday, Pitt State hosted a discussion about plans for a Center for Nursing Leadership in Kansas. Several Kansas nursing schools came to PSU for the discussion, which continues a previous meeting in Topeka. Officials say a nursing leadership center would strengthen the nursing pipeline, making it easier and more efficient to develop nursing leaders in the state. Atkinson Municipal Airport in Pittsburgh announces plans for expansion projects. The airport hosted an open house on Wednesday. The event aims to introduce the community to the upcoming apron reconstruction and expansion projects starting in July. Folks got to enjoy refreshments at the terminal building, meet local pilots, and gain insight into the upcoming improvements at the airport. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, some pop-up storms possible in southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma this afternoon. Otherwise, partly cloudy, still hot, upper 80s, maybe a lower 90-degree reading out there or 2. It will be partly cloudy once those storms die off tonight, and we'll drop back into the low to mid-60s, so a little cooler than where we have been. Maybe a pop-up storm tomorrow, low 90s, mid-90s, scattered storms this weekend, and more storm chances by Tuesday.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making fresh garden pasta in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up and only on CBS Mornings, Vladimir Gutierrez announces this year's star-studded list of Kennedy Center honorees.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, we've got Captain Will Davis from the Joplin Police Department stopping by to share some valuable information on how you can protect your valuables from theft.
Plus, we hope you like Mean Girls, the movie and play, not the actual people. We've got the cast of Joplin High School's Mean Girls headed into the studio to tell you all about their latest production. But that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you again today at noon.